Well, welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Miko from thebudgetmom.com, and we have Ryen back today for another budget recap. And today we're going to be going over our May budget. And oh my gosh. So about 2 weeks out of May, I wasn't here.
Oh yeah, May was a big travel month
The
for you.
other 2 weeks, I didn't pay any attention to my finances, didn't track my spending. It was a complete disaster, a mess. I had receipts overflowing in my wallet all over the place. I had no idea what was going on with my spending categories. I kind of was going by the seat of my pants, hoping, because what happened was I literally was stealing cash from other envelopes, and I didn't realize, and I didn't know, like, how much am I really going over budget in these?
Right.
It was literally like, oh, I have the cash, I'm gonna spend it because I'm doing fun. I was doing a lot of fun activities and embracing the summer weather.
Yeah.
And it made me realize during the summer months, my gas and my fun spending increases drastically.
I bet.
I am a summer girl, and I realize this about myself. I am at my happiest when I am in the warm sun by the water.
Yeah.
So I went kayaking, I went hiking,
I
went swimming, I went boating, I did all the things, okay? So May, I was off a little bit because I knew it was going to be a hard month because I got so disorganized and so outside of my routine that I became flustered.
Yeah.
And I was anxious.
Yeah.
Like, really.
I feel like that too when I don't look at my budget for a few days.
Yeah, and mine was like weeks.
It's like almost like I'll just put it off a little.
Yeah, or mine was just like, I want to go out and do fun things.
Yeah.
And let me just be, the budget mom is coming out and saying, my budget and tracking my spending and my financial routine was not at the top of my priority list.
Yeah, I get that. Hey.
My mental health
Right,
was.
and that should be, yeah.
And here's the great thing. Because of the way that I've set up my budget and because of the way that I have managed my money, it was okay for me to step back and not be in complete destructive, chaotic mode because I wasn't able to do it.
Right.
So that way you'll see everything that was happening in May. For me, my May was kind of crazy because I had a couple of really big things happen as far as like my household. I spent $8,000 in my household category.
That was in May.
Why? Because my property taxes that I pay once a year, remember I own my home outright, but I still have to pay property taxes, house insurance. My property taxes come out once a year, every year in May.
$8,000.
I own a lot of property. Mm-hmm. So it's not just my house that I'm paying property taxes on, it's my land as well. I get that question a lot. My sinking fund I had to use for my...
You were prepared though.
I was prepared with cash.
Yay.
It's just my budget and my spending is a little skewed this month.
Right.
Which is what happens. And guess what? I'm fully aware of why.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So between traveling, fun expenses, I went way over budget in my gas. I'm talking by like over $100.
Oh my God.
And my household spending was completely...
insane.
mind blown. So that was my May. Chaotic.
I know. May wasn't as crazy as it was. I mean, Mother's Day was in May, right? Mother's Day.
Yep.
We went to New York.
Yep.
It was my niece's birthday, and I honestly think that's about as exciting May was for me.
But that's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot of
on.
money spending, but I was prepared, and I'll show you guys that. It was a lot of me spending money, but I was prepared.
Okay, so let us show you where our dollars went in May. Exactly. Our financial goals, where Ryen is on her debt journey now that she has sold her car, and what that looks like as far as where she is throwing her money now and everything else. For our May budget breakdown and recap today, Ryen is using the full-size Budget by Paycheck workbook. I am using the Budget by Paycheck box set booklets, which is why you're seeing a difference in design and size. So I always like to mention that because I get a lot of questions about that. So for me in the month of May, and so this is my May budget, and I get all the information for today's recaps coming from my expense trackers. A lot of different things. So let's very quickly talk about the first worksheet, which is the monthly budget category breakdown. And let's talk about the inflow of money into my life in May. That comes from a couple of different sources. Now, when I am discussing my budget recap and you're seeing these percentages, it's always based off the total inflow into my life, not necessarily just my earned income. So the inflow into my life in May, I had a starting balance of 1151. That was strictly the cash I had sitting in my checking account the first day of my tracking period in May. I have earned income, which was my TBM paycheck of $5,000. I had other income, $600, which is everything outside of your W-2 paycheck or your normal paycheck. And I used savings in the month of May. I transferred money from my dedicated savings account into my checking account to spend. And that's savings used. And that was by far my biggest inflow into my life, $8,600. So when you're seeing I have a total monthly inflow of $15,354, people are like, oh my gosh. This month is 100% different than any other month. I had my biggest bill come out this month. It only happens once every year, my property taxes. So of this $15,000, only $5,000 of it was earned income. So with that being said, I was off by only $45, meaning my income matching my expenses, right? Zero-based budget, income minus expenses equals zero. I'm off by $45, but I knew it was gonna be a challenge this month. I'm fine with that. I'm leaving it, I'm moving on. I was under budget if it's in green. I was over budget if it's in red. Now, my tracking period budget for all my categories are right here. For instance, I had $150 for gas and any car purchases. I was at $259. So I was over in my gas budget by $109. And people ask me, like, if you're over budget, then where did you get the money? It came from my checking account cushion. That ate into my checking account cushion because I'm cashless for my gas category. I'm swiping my debit card. I was over with James, and here is why. I signed my son up for parkour.
Ooh, fun.
It was literally on the spot, complete decision out of the blue. We were there, like he had asked me, it was done. Like I just paid for it because he hasn't wrestled in 2 years because schools have been shut down. So that was a little over $100 for that. And then my biggest one, $8,000 over my household, but I know why. I had my property taxes. And of course, and look at my fun and entertainment.
Oh, right, because of your vacation.
I had a vacation trip to Austin, Texas that I used vacation savings for. Right. That goes in my fun and entertainment. But I also was over in my fun and entertainment because I stole cash from other categories. And if it's in green, I was under budget. So that's where I am with my monthly budget category breakdown.
All right, so here is mine. For my starting balance into May was $521.18. Total incoming inflow was $4,203, and I broke it down here. I know it's kind of small, but earned of that was about $3,800. I had some other income that I'll talk about later for $200, and then I used a sinking fund for my niece's birthday for $200, which brings my total monthly inflow to $47.25. Everything here in green means that I was under budget. Everything in red means I was over. Mostly, I did pretty well in the month of May. It definitely helped on my gas and my food being out of town for those 4 days for work. So that definitely helped those. Household, I was over by 38 cents. I did put more to debt than I had budgeted for, which is always a good thing. Yeah. And then same with savings. Yeah, same with savings. And then here's kind of where I spent all my money. So Mother's Day, as you know, was in May. So what I used is any unused cash from my cash envelopes from April. I just used that $135 for my Mother's Day for my mom and my boyfriend's mom. My niece's birthday, you can tell, I had a $200 sinking fund, but I did go like $52 over that, and I just used my checking account cushion for that. And then my mom's birthday, this is a huge one. My brother, this other income here, this $200 is paying half for a new Bissell thing my mom wanted. So my brother and I were able to get her that, which is really special to me because I never spent that much money on my mom before. Yeah. So it's just always really nice, you know. And the best part is I had it set aside, so it was really good for that. So yeah, I was off by $19.
So the $200 here that you received as income from your brother is offsetting half of this payment. Yes. Perfect. Okay.
Correct.
And this is what it would look like on your monthly budget category breakdown when you were doing that. Now, people will ask me, Miko, what does that look like on your expense tracker? What this would look like is this other income would be an inflow.
Yep. And I call my brother Bub. So I just wrote Bub in inflow.
Yep. Inflow. And then you would write down the expense of it.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So the next worksheet we're going to look at is our monthly debt and savings breakdown. Now I am debt free, whereas Ryen has debt. So I use the debt portion of the monthly debt and savings breakdown worksheet as my investment tracker. So out of my entire inflow for the month, which was that $15,000 I described earlier, I invested $1,134 of that, which is 7% of my inflow. $300 went to my non-retirement brokerage individual account. $834 went to my son's 529. That aligns with my financial goals. I'm happy with that. For my savings, what I'm using for the total monthly income is, I put it in parentheses here, I'm only going off of my earned income, my other income, and my starting balance.
Right.
Okay. It gives you a more accurate representation of what you are truly saving, because you're never going to save savings used.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was able to save 28% of this figure, and it went towards my $5 challenge, my 2021 savings challenges. If you have not heard about our savings challenges, I'll link the video right now in this video and in this description below. And my sinking funds. Now, 92% went to sinking funds. Remember, I am on all foot forward trying to get my sinking funds saved this year early, so I can throw that money towards other things. And then 6% went towards my 2021 challenge, and then 2% went towards my $5. And that aligns with my financial goals.
That's awesome.
Now, my sinking funds is lumped all in one category. This category includes many different things: vacation savings, property taxes, house insurance, a whole slew of things.
That's true.
So to save me from writing it all, I just lump it all together under one category called sinking funds.
Okay, so I do have debt. So this is my monthly debt and savings breakdown page. Total monthly inflow for the month was $4,725, and I put about 27% of that to debt. All of it went towards my student loan. That is the only debt that I have. So any extra discretionary income that I receive, I just throw it at my student loan. So I was able to put about $1,200, almost $1,300 towards my student loan, which is awesome. I'm so happy about that.
And this is strictly because Ryen sold her car, paid off a bunch of debt, no longer has a debt payment, and is now using that debt, that car payment that she was paying, is now going towards her student loans.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Which increased this amount a ton.
Yeah, as well as my insurance. It's so crazy to me that I'm saving I want to say almost $50 a month on insurance, just because I don't have to have full coverage anymore.
Right.
So all of that extra, I'm just throwing towards my student loan. So I've been making good progress on that. And then on this side, my total monthly income, like Miko just said, this does not include savings used, which is why this number is going to be less than this number. I put about 13% of my income to savings. Let's see, 380 towards sinking funds, 129 for the 2021 savings challenges, and then $100 for my emergency fund.
Right, because that's a goal of yours, right? To increase your emergency fund.
Yeah, I've just been throwing $100 at it a month, so $50 a paycheck is what I'm doing. I have $3,000 now, but I kind of want to I'm comfortable with that, but I would love more, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm making it a small amount to where it doesn't really affect my other goals, but it's big enough to make
a difference. Yeah, for sure. Love that. Love that idea. Okay. Now, the last worksheet we use to recap our budget, and this is a very helpful worksheet because it's comparing this month's spending to last month's spending. Why is that important? It's important, especially you should have some type of measurable when it comes to your success, especially if you're setting up any type of small changes or goals that you are wanting to accomplish from month to month. This is going to tell you if you're accomplishing that. So it's also easy to see and notice any type of trends or out of control, what I call leaky spending, leaking spending from month to month. So I had, of course, a drastic change in my income. It increased by $8,491, strictly to using my property tax savings. If it's in red over here, I spent more in May than I did in April, and if it's in green, I spent less. So, of course, gas, I told you I was over.
Yeah.
James, that parkour, household, $8,000 more than last month.
Wow.
And then my fun and entertainment. All these things I knew.
Right.
All these things I did know. And then I was really, I saved less, $400 less for savings, but I knew that because I was spending it for fun activities.
Right.
My budget allows me the flexibility to spend the money the way that I value. And I decided to spend it on joy.
Yeah,
last month.
I love that.
And guess what? I didn't go into debt to enjoy my life.
Right. And you had a ton of fun.
I had a ton of fun, and it was amazing. So this is where I am at as far as my spending compared from May to April. And my biggest thing here was I knew for a fact like I wanted to spend less in food, and I definitely did. I spent $355 less.
Oh my goodness.
Here for food, and that's because, like I said, I was gone for 2 weeks out of the month traveling, so I didn't do any grocery hauls. And don't forget, I'm a single mom that shares 50-50 custody with my ex-husband. I didn't have him for one of those weeks.
Yeah.
And it was just me.
That definitely, yeah.
And guess what? I don't give a crap. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
When it comes to like, I don't need to cook myself an elaborate meal. Like, I can throw a burger on the grill and be totally happy.
Right.
You know, I can make myself a small salad and not have to worry about making something, you know, more nutritious, more impactful for my kid.
Children, right.
So it makes a big difference, but that was one of my goals. I did it. Of course,
awesome.
Traveling helped. But,
yeah, right.
but it is what it is.
Okay, so I had a monthly inflow change. It increased $55. If it's in red here, it means I spent more in May than I did in April. If it's in green, I spent less in May than I did in April. So I did spend more, nothing too drastic that I noticed when I was doing this. I spent more in food, more in personal, a little bit more in gas. And I just want to say that's probably because of the same reason that Miko's facing, just prices are increasing and, you know, that kind of stuff. I put more towards debt in May than I did in April, but I didn't save as much in May than I did in April.
And would you say that was what you wanted to do more towards debt?
For sure. I have kind of, I'm looking at my savings accounts, you know, and I'm just kind of, debt is definitely my priority. I have savings accounts and sinking funds for my car emergency and all of this stuff that I'm just focusing so much on debt, and really savings is just sinking funds in that emergency fund. So
perfect. Yes. Okay. So let us recap our May budget. So that is more detail on our May budget recap and where our dollars went. Now, when we talk about June, there are going to be some things that I'm going to talk about. So I'm getting a lot of questions and comments about what are some of the more affordable free activities, because I'm saying right now that I'm really focusing on enjoying the summer weather.
Right.
More so on just discovering contentment and happiness with just me, myself and I, okay? And in really embracing being okay doing things alone.
Right, totally.
And so here are some of the things that I'm discovering as a mom, as a individual, some affordable and free activities that I'm really loving right now. One, hiking is at the top of my list.
Oh, for sure.
Here in Spokane, Washington, we are blessed with some of the most beautiful hiking trails.
Beautiful trails
near
here.
Water, in fields, in mountains, whatever you're fancy. Like, there's a hiking trail here where we live.
For sure.
So that is completely 100% free unless you count the gas to get there. Some of the places I do hike, like the Bull and Pitcher, do require you to have a park pass.
That's right, and they're fairly cheap.
They're
like $30 for a year.
And you can go to any of the parks in the state, I believe.
Right. Yeah,
with
I think you're right. And you can have like 2 different license plates associated with that.
Yep. And so I did that. I already had that. And it's great because I think that if you buy that parks pass when you do your car tabs in registration, you get a discount.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot
you can save a few bucks on that as well.
Wow.
So that's a great free activity. My kid loves getting outdoors with me and hiking. Aww. Another thing we've been doing a lot of swimming. We went to Liberty Lake recently, and my son got to go in with his life jacket and really do some swimming. That's always free. So going to the beach, it's where I am my happiest, is where I'm near water.
For sure.
Another thing that I have been enjoying a lot lately too is outside of just the hiking and being at the lake. Another thing that I've enjoyed is, it's going to sound so weird for me, is podcasts. I have never listened. Yeah. I'm just going to come out and say it. I've never listened to a podcast.
You know, I'm not much of a podcast listener either, to be honest.
But I am working on mindset and growth and my happiness right now. And there are some podcasts. So sometimes I'll just sit out in the sun on my deck and listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Another thing too is I have kayaks and paddle boards. Mm-hmm. I haven't utilized them the way I should.
Right.
I'm bringing the kayaks, and I'm going to be bringing the paddle boards out for the first time this summer here soon. Mm-hmm. It's a great activity. My son's 8, that he can do that with me. It's a great activity to do alone by yourself.
For sure.
I have inflatable ones that work really well. So that's another activity I've been enjoying. I will not lie. I've also been enjoying trying new restaurants here in town.
That's always fun.
with my
Yeah,
friends.
that is
Whether
fun.
that's, and look, we always look for the best happy hour
Oh yeah, there's some great places
where you can get
everywhere.
great food,
Yeah.
sit out on the patio. You can pick up an appetizer for $4.50, $5,
Right.
$3 drink if you are into drinking. I like to check out their virgin drinks. So those are some of the things that I am doing right now. Also, as a mom, let me tell you, one of your best resources for fun, affordable summer activities that don't cost a dime, check out your local library.
That's what you always say. That is so interesting.
It is my go-to resource when
Wow.
I cannot think of something fun to do with my son.
Right.
We have an amazing local library system here, institution here, especially the one in Millwood out here. They do online activities, virtual events if you don't want to come in
Wow.
person. They're doing a full science activity thing right
Wow.
now, reading opportunities and different times you can bring in your children for reading. It's just a
Wow.
great resource.
Yeah.
If you're just as a mom and you're struggling, you just want to get your kids outside and away from the electronics, okay,
That's
which has
such a
been
good
one of my
idea.
struggles.
Yeah.
Just being 100% honest as a mom here. Okay, we all know we're dealing with the electronics.
It's
Okay.
summertime.
All right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been doing. Now, as far as June is concerned, I'm going to be continuing to do a lot of these activities.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't have any major events, and my goal this month is to balance that joy and happiness from my money without the chaos and the disorganization of what happened to me in May.
Right. Finding that balance.
Finding
like
that
you said.
balance
Yeah,
of
yeah.
being able to step away from my budget and my finances. And that's a great thing, is when you establish a routine,
Your budget's still kind of working.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I always say your budget has your back if you do
Yeah.
it properly.
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
true. You experienced that.
Right, I experienced that
Yeah.
in May. But this time I want to approach it with more balance as far as organization of how I handle
For
it.
sure. For sure.
So that's my June.
Yeah, June, the weather is getting nicer. I'm hoping to do some camping trips with a few of my friends. That's usually what my boyfriend and I like to do in the summer. We like to do road trips. He's from the other side of the state, so we like to go over there and see his family and his friends and whatnot. Other than that, there's nothing.
And here's the thing, I will tell you, and you'll see in my June budget recap, I realized and noticed my gas budget going up.
I noticed that even just filling up.
Yes.
For
And
fill
so
up.
what I did is I lowered my checking account cushion in June and increased my gas budget.
Oh.
So instead of having a $150 gas budget, I'm now
Right.
at about $250 gas budget.
Right.
So I was
Wow.
able to make that change when I noticed it was
For
happening.
sure. You're
So
just
I'm
planning
prepared.
ahead.
I decreased in another area to fulfill a value somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
awesome.
I'm spending more on gas because
Yeah.
I'm doing more fun
You're
things.
Doing more all the fun things.
Thank you, budget. Thank you.
Shout out to budget.
Yep. So that is our June budget or our May budget recap. May, people. And we'll be coming back for our June budget recap at the end of, or beginning probably of July, end of
Yep.
June. So if you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Better make sure that this stays.
I think I'm okay.
Okay?
It went away.
Done. Boom. Done. Yes. Check. Check.
All right. That's a big old check.